You okay, Cass? Yeah, you look like you acquired a ghost.
Hey! Annie TV, stop predicting the future.
Television, new religion, and everyone's sing hallelujah. Politicians don't wanna listen, they only wanna make money out of you. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Yeah, look at that superior hawk vision. Our episode opens with Tobias flying around, and I have to wonder, did he put those Jessies on himself, or is that part of the morph? I don't see how you could acquire the DNA of leather straps, but then again, I don't see how you could acquire the DNA of a mall cop's watch. Tobias almost eats Cassie, who's morphed a cute little bunny, and then we get a hilariously awkward Wonder Years moment. Now, each of these episodes have opened with narration, but usually the narration is unobtrusive. Either it'll happen when a character is walking alone, or it'll drown out unimportant dialogue. But this is a Wonder Years moment, where the characters suddenly get silent for no good reason to make room for the narration. This worked fine in the Wonder Years, which was a narrative derived from nostalgic memory instead of actual linear events. But when it happens in something like this, it's just hilarious, because they're just standing there, looking at each other. Here's the scene without the narration.
Tobias, that was way too close.
Another second and you would have been history. What's with the rabbit morph?
See? Anyway, Cassie says she's been acquiring a whole bunch of new animals, since you never know when you might need them, and I have to wonder if the show wasn't trying to send a subtle message to K.A. Too bad she never watched it. Well, okay, it's a good thing she didn't watch it. Suddenly, Cassie and Tobias are struck with visions of NASA stock footage and a mysterious alien voice talking in a panic, all this causing Cassie and Tobias to pass out. They get a hold of Jake and Marco. Rachel isn't there because Brooke Nevin is on Rachel is with her dad. The two guys aren't sure if they believe Cassie, but it hardly matters since there's not much they can do about it. Cassie is played by Nadia Lee Nascimento. I think I got that right. And while I certainly have reservations about Cassie in the book, Nadia is my favorite actor of the main five. And her Cassie is by and large an improvement. The show's Cassie doesn't really have the time for moral grandstanding, but is still the most emotional member of the group and wears those emotions on her sleeve. Nadia pretty much nails this throughout the entire series, and you'd never guess that she had as few acting credits as she does. Nadia's pretty much retired from acting and has found success in advertising and product management, so good for her. Also, as a personal aside, I think she's damn attractive. Oh, shut up. She was 20 when she made this. Hey, I bought one of those at the Science Center in Boise. We cut to Yerk Labs, where Dr. Weenie is trying to unlock the secret of Elfangor's disc.
Oh, and if you don't mind me saying so, sir, I think that you've chosen an excellent human morph.
Humans are soft and weak. This is better.
Did Visser 3 just morph straight from human to monster? Meanwhile, Cassie is wandering around the forest to, accomplish nothing, when the alien's message hits her head again. Only this time, Visser 3 hears it as well. For almost a full minute, we see Visser 3 making blubbery faces and throwing things around in a fit. It's the very definition of unintentionally funny. What use is an Andalite communication system that mentally beats the shit out of anyone who can pick up the signal? You could make an excuse for Cassie and Tobias since they're humans and aren't even supposed to be getting these signals, but the number it does on Visser 3 here is just bizarre. Well, this time Cassie has some landmarks, so she gets the boys and they start looking around. In a moment that tries to contradict my claim that Nadia was the best actor there, when Cassie spots one of the landmarks, it causes her to feel, brain pain, in a moment that's very William Shatner-esque. The Animorphs start searching around the place and find a tuft of fur, which confirms that, yes, Harry Munster is on the loose. That's the cue for the human controllers to show up, led by Tom. All of them are carrying around Dracon beams, and I'd be remiss to not point out eventually that the Dracon beams are flashlights with a few bits of plastic attached. If I wanted to be charitable, I could pretend the Yeerks modified their weapons so that they could be less conspicuous in public, but I'd just be kidding myself. They did it because Nickelodeon is cheap. Once the controllers leave the immediate area, our heroes proceed to, walk around in the open and talk at normal levels. Guerrilla tactics! The three Animorphs search one of the buildings, and Cassie ends up getting tackled by the injured Andalite. For what it's worth, the costume here is a tad better than the one we've been seeing for Visser 3, but that might have to do with the actor inside the costume being more physically emotive. Whenever Visser 3 is around, he's just standing there looking at you, but this guy is acting all panicked. He's shaking a bit. It's a pretty good performance behind all the full-body prosthetics. The Andalite makes a few empty threats, but lets Cassie go after they mention Elfangor. At this point, Visser 3 shows up, posing as one of the good Andalites, and this scared little guy buys it up and goes to him. Jesus Christ, TV Andalites are Bigfoot hairy. Cassie morphs Skunk to attack that way skunks do. Momentary distraction is a far more reasonable means of using a skunk morph than hostage negotiation. The Andalites make a run for it, and someone throws a stuffed skunk into Marco's arms. You dropped me! Motherfucker dropped me! So after walking past an Andalite mannequin, the Animorphs hold themselves up in a room of undeterminable purpose with no roof. The Andalite confronts the Animorphs on their ability to morph, and when they tell him that Elfangor gave him the power, he starts to freak out and falls to the ground. The controllers can't open the door from the other side, so Visser 3 begins to hack at it with his tail blade. The Animorphs find a convenient butterfly and acquire it.
Welcome to Earth.
No, you're supposed to punch him first! So Visser 3 breaks down the door and morphs human while Andalite bandits are around. What was it he said earlier?
Humans are soft and weak.
I love how it took all three Animorphs to open the heavy, stuck door, but when this guy walks in, he just so casually slides it away like it's nothing. Anyway, the Animorphs have morphed Butterfly and escape. The Animorphs transport the Andalite to Cassie's barn where they tend to his wounds. Yeah, morphing doesn't heal injuries in this series because of, reasons.
My ship was not prepared for your atmospheric conditions.
I got a question. What the hell did he come here for? Okay, it's Axe. We all know it's Axe. Why am I pretending like this is going to be a surprise? In the book, Axe was a new cadet in the Andalite military and came to Earth on the dome ship when the Andalites went to attack the Yeerks in orbit and the ship crashed into the ocean. But here, it's implied that Axe came to Earth more than a week after the space battle in his own personal ship that we never see. Why? Was he on a mission or did he come on his own? A quick line saying that Axe came here by himself to find the missing Elfangor would have gone a long way, and even would have amplified the emotional moment when Axe discovers that Elfangor is dead. Not only did he not save his brother, now he's stuck on Earth because of his rash judgment. I want a time machine so that I could go back and be on the writing staff for this show. And to put Hitler in the cupboard. Axe, all emotional, runs out into the forest. And then look who shows up. Duh. I love it. Rachel seems so dumbfounded. It's kind of cute, really. Axe acquires the four humans, Cassie making a face that I've turned into a flipbook, and then starts morphing. I don't know how, but I just wet your pants. Using the latest in annoying orange technology, Axe gains his human morph, including a fresh set of designer clothes. And everyone who hasn't read the books asks, what the fuck just happened? Axe swears his loyalty to Prince Jake, and we close with Cassie narrating about friendship or something. Post-episode follow-up. Not much to say about this one, really. It serves its function in introducing Axe, but that's about it. It's not all that entertaining, but it doesn't dive too far into idiocy. A screenwriter punched a few keys, some guys rented out an old warehouse, they shot some things and called it a day. Boring, subpar television. But hey, at least there are no magic talking whales in this version, so that's a plus. I give the message a 4 out of 10.
If you ask me, the whole thing is getting kind of weird.
Great. The talking bird says looking for an alien in the woods is weird.
Watch it, Marco. I have great aim.